welcome to Revitalize Womanhood. How are you?
Hello, so good. How are you?
Annie Burdett. That's so hard for me. Annie Pearson. Annie
I know.
Pearson, welcome to the show. Are we in
Yeah,
high school still?
same. It's like Gina Weldron. Gina Weldron, not Gina Trimmer.
Isn't that funny? We've been friends since seventh grade, right? We
Yeah.
met in seventh grade.
Uh-huh.
Then we've
I
got
could
the dance pictures to prove it.
I could tell a funny story about you, can I? It
Oh
might
my
be a
gosh.
little embarrassing.
You can. I have a funny story about you, but I won't say it on here.
Well, I'll just tell you because your listeners don't know this, Gina. Gina, seventh grade Gina, she had her head buzzed, right? From here. And she had her long hair over, and she used to walk around. I thought she was so cool. She had a pick in her pocket. She always had a pick in her pocket, and that's the Gina I remember. So
Thug life.
I started wearing a pick in my pocket. So you've always been influential to me. So there you go.
I was
Seventh
an
grade junior high.
influencer before I even knew what an influencer was.
Yeah, yeah. But I still remember you'd pull up your hair, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, your hair's shaved under. Oh my gosh, that's so cool!" Like, isn't that funny?
It's so funny because now it's like coming back, like it's a normal thing to see now. But when I was
Uh-huh.
in seventh grade in Kaysville, Utah, that was not a normal thing to see.
You were setting trends.
I was setting trends. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I
That's a nice
remember.
memory of you anyway.
Oh, I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah.
And the memories probably will keep coming out, and nobody needs to know a lot of them. It's fine.
No, I only have good ones.
I only have good ones too, but they are hilarious. They are so silly. Oh my heck. Hanging out at your house with Kristen. Oh my gosh. We were so silly. It was so fun. Like, what fun memories.
Good times. Yeah.
So, Annie, tell my listeners a little bit about yourself.
Oh my
This
gosh.
Annie Burdett. Tell me a little bit about her too, please.
Well, gosh, how much do you want to know? Well, I am a wife and a mother. I've got 5 children. I own my own health and wellness business, coaching business that I've been doing for 2 years, and I love that. I love being outdoors. I love hiking. Um, I'm just out to try to change the world and make it a better place, especially for women. So, what else do you want to know?
What was it that, where, do you remember the moment that you had that, this is what I'm going to do moment?
Yeah, I mean, so just a little backstory. I still own my own organizing business, and I did that for it will be 12 years this summer. So I've always had a love and a passion to help people in some way. Like, what's your problem? I'll find you a solution. So I did that for several years. I just needed something to get me out of my house, but still be a mom, right? And create my own schedule. And I really loved that. But as I started having more kids, I just thought I need to be home more. And so when I was able to, well, my degree is in physical health and, oh my gosh, what's it called? I'm drawing a blank. Um,
That happens all the
Community
time
health
here.
and physical education. That's what it is. I'm like, oh. Anyway, so I've always had a love and help for a passion for health and nutrition. And so I just decided, I was like, I need a change. I need to change something in my life. So about COVID time, it's like everybody was just dealing with all this emotional mismanagement, and we're stuck at home with kids. And it was just like, what am I doing? Like, I don't feel very fulfilled, right? Like, you can go in and organize people's homes. It's cool. But at the time, like, nobody was doing that, right? Everything was shut down. So, and I always have considered myself like an athletic person. I've never considered myself a big person, but I also didn't feel fully like myself. And I was like, I need to make a change. So my dear friend Sarah, I watched her make some changes physically, and I was like, I totally want that, and I also saw her change, just like this countenance about her was different. So I learned more about health coaching, and I thought, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. I love health and fitness, and I want to make a difference in people's lives with their health, because we are surrounded by so many people that are sick in our country. So I just decided that I needed change, but I also wanted to start another business that was just different, like organizing and help, like totally different, but I still was working with people, learning their stories, coming up with solution with them and making a difference in their life. And I love it because I still am a stay-at-home mom, but I'm building a business that's a business I never thought I could ever have, you know? So I just kind of knew at that moment, I'm like, this is what I need to do. I've always had this love and passion on the back burner, but like I'm really bringing it out to really help people and educate people. So, yeah.
I feel like your slide from organization into this is so organic.
Yeah.
Because organizing someone's home, it's like you said, you have to get to know them. You have to get, like, if someone comes into my home and doesn't understand that I've got a 2-year-old, so I can't put like nice things down low, or, you know, if you don't understand those things, that's not going to be a good way to organize for me, right? So you have to find out all the details, but also it takes habits. It takes good foundational habits to not only organize, but to teach someone else how to organize and remain organized, right? Yeah. Otherwise, it just slides back into chaos, which is exactly why I asked you to record this month. And I really put this twist on Annie and said, get in here, because this month we are working on foundational habits. We brought it back. We've already done a whole month on atomic habits and James Clear, but now I'm like, you know, I think it needs to be something that's revisited every 6 months, because if not more, because habits are, I called this month Rooted in Habits, because our lives, if you imagine the roots of a tree, that's what creates the alignment and the balance in your life, are these good habits, the foundational habits, right? And so for you, the same with me in my community, helping people understand that living a healthy life, eating healthy, or lifestyle, it's a lifestyle.
Yeah,
it's not a quick fix.
No.
So, and same with organizing. You know, you come in with some totes and it's great, but guess what? You got to keep them organized if you want to maintain this level of. So I think it was a perfect slide into this, and I absolutely love it. What is it? So I went to I should have done this before we recorded. I didn't even realize it was there, and I'm going to go do it afterwards. And I would recommend any of you listeners, I'll put it in the show notes, on Annie's Instagram. She's got her jot form on there, and basically it opens it up to a huge questionnaire of like digging into learning these people, right? These women. Is it all women, or do you work with men?
No, I do have some men, but of course, mostly women come to me, right? I think women, of course, are harder on themselves, and we put everybody else first. And, you know, when moms aren't feeling great, like, you know, the whole family kind of suffers. And the other thing is that so many women feel like that's just normal to be tired all the time. It's normal to have brain fog. I'm like, it's not normal, actually. So let's try to fix that. So yeah, I do have some male clients, but it's not geared towards women, because I can help anybody, but I tend to see definitely more.
We attract kind of what we, you know,
Totally.
I mean, I happen to attract, not because that's not what's in my membership, limited to my membership, but I happen to attract stay-at-home moms.
Yeah.
That's apparently who I speak to, and I love it. But yeah, that's just who it happens to be. So when these women come to you, I love that you talked about that we kind of put ourselves on the back burners. Women just, you know, we'll do everything for everyone else. That's just in our nature, and we love doing it, but it's to the detriment. Yeah. And it's so funny that this is finally, thank goodness, becoming a societal shift almost to think about the oxygen mask. It's like, if I am constantly running on fumes, everybody around me is going to suffer. It's not going to be a pleasant thing. I actually just did a post about this on Instagram, about where I was when I first started this community. Well, before that, where I was before that, I was kind of making the change before that I started this, but it was wearing the hot mess mom as a badge of honor.
Right.
And it's because I couldn't admit to myself that it was a negative thing.
Right.
You know, the hot mess mom, you don't have to do that.
Right.
It's like giving a pass to moms who are schlepping around in their gym clothes, which, don't get me wrong, everybody knows I
We
still
all
do
do it.
that.
Well,
But I do
yeah.
it intentionally,
Yeah.
right? I do
Yes.
it intentionally. I don't do it because I've run out of time. I've overscheduled. I'm
Yeah.
overwhelmed. I do it because it's intentionally how I want to look for the day.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so that's why I started this, because I want there to be more women that realize there's more to life. You can
Yeah.
enjoy your life.
Yes.
So when walk me through kind of your, when you get this client,
Hmm.
she comes to you,
Hmm.
what does this template of a client look like? Because I am willing to bet it doesn't even, she thinks it's just her fitness food wise.
Right.
I guarantee you she only comes to you thinking, I'm going to get in shape.
Right. Nope.
And that's Pandora's box right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I'd say 99% of the people that come to me is weight loss, right? Weight loss, they have no self-confidence. They just feel like garbage, they're tired, whatever. And those are all important things to address, right? But what I talk to my clients about when we work on is all mindset, right? Because I found that the mental side of losing weight is actually the most important piece of losing weight. You have to address your mental side, and we work through like people's limiting beliefs, because people cannot grasp the concept that they actually can be at their high school weight or their wedding weight. Do you know what I mean? They just think, oh no, I've had kids, I'm 40, it's just all down here. I'm like, no, it doesn't have to be. It does not have to be. And so when I have people fill out the drop form, it's just a great guide for me to look at, in our conversation on, explaining or seeing where they're at. I like to open or have open-ended questions to ask them deeper questions. I'm peeling back the layers, the onions, and say, tell me more about that. Why is that? Asking questions, because you get people to open up. Because when people open up, then that's when you're like, oh, that's what's going on here. And then I go into how I can help them and how I work together with them, and it's so awesome. It's so awesome and fulfilling. So
I love that. I want to get back to, you said getting back to the high school weight. Do a lot of people categorize themselves as, I'm just curious, this is kind of taking a right hand turn here, but I'll bring it back. But right now I feel like I'm probably my high school weight, but I'm more fit. I'm more
mhm.
healthy. I'm more, you know what I mean? So I guess weight, but do you have more breakthroughs rather than hitting this target weight? Yeah, that's a great goal.
Mhm.
But in the meantime, I like the saying that the goal is not the goal.
Right.
It's the
Mhm.
journey getting
Yeah.
to the goal, right?
Yes.
And so I'm wondering if, which I'm willing to bet, while they're making it to this goal, if they never even make it to the high school weight, they're so much happier and
Yeah.
love themselves so much more and can be so much more comfortable in their own body at
Mhm.
that time in their
Mhm.
lives, that kind of getting back to this weight
Mhm.
disappears.
Yeah, and I don't put the focus on, like, of course I always ask, well, how much weight would you like to lose?
Hmm.
But again, I bring back the whole component of, but what are your non-scale victories? Because the scale does not mean anything. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, when I say like high school weight, just because women just think they can never get back their bodies, and I'm like,
Yeah.
you absolutely can. So yeah, I do put a lot of focus of, tell me more. Okay, your non-scale victory. Okay, you might have lost half a pound or no pounds, but what did you know? What are your wins this week? And they're like, well, I have amazing energy. Awesome. My clothes fit looser. Awesome. I noticed that, my kids are starting to choose the healthier option. I'm like, awesome. Like, those are all the things that we focus on, because that's what matters. That gets us down, creating those healthy habits for lifelong transformation, right? Like we
Exactly.
talked about earlier, it's not a quick fix. There's no diet. There's no like diet out there. There's no pill. There's no shot. There's nothing out there that you can do in a quick fix that will help you long term until you change and establish those habits for sure. So
Yeah, absolutely. And the desire has to be there. And for most
yeah,
people, it is the desire to quote unquote get back to your high school weight because
yeah,
they
or
don't
close
know.
to it, or
They
close
don't
to it,
know that
right?
the
Mm-hmm.
journey that they're about to take with you is going to get so much deeper and so much further than just a weight that
Yeah,
is what they're coming to you saying. And that's an easy way to kind of put something in perspective, I think.
yeah.
Where do you start with foundational habits when someone who has not ever had any kind of mindset coaching, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
where do you even start?
Oh man. I mean, what I do initially really is because people don't grasp the concept of mindset in the beginning. Literally, most people are like, I don't care. I just want to lose weight. So I'm like, great. That's where we'll start. So I get them into fat burn. They start losing the weight. And as they start losing the weight and they're feeling amazing, then I'm like, okay, then there's this mindset aspect. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because I can't just say, I can help you lose weight by working on your mindset. They're like, cool, I don't care. I just want you to tell me that I can lose 20 pounds, 30 pounds, or whatever. Some people just have 10 pounds. So we get them in that good habits, eating appropriately, fueling their body, getting into fat burn, and they start to melt essentially. And they're like, this is freaking awesome. And so then you start to bring in, so um, I don't know if you were going to ask this, but I'll kind of go into it anyway. So what's so great is there are 4 components to what I coach in. So our community is huge, right? You and I both know people crave community. We need community these days. We lost a lot of community through COVID, right? People were just shut down and locked out, and we're getting better, right? People are coming out more, but that there's a lost connection. So community is huge. We also have our education, right? And we've got the nutrition plan, and then you get me as a coach. And so as you utilize all 4 components, it's just a beautiful system that works. Like I tell people, I'm like, I see it all the time. If you use all 4 components, I can help you reach your goals of X, Y, and Z, whatever it is they want to accomplish. So it's pretty awesome.
I actually, when you say that they come to you, I that's perfect that you said. You kind of just set me up, because when you say they come to you and they just want to lose this weight and they're not in it for mindset, they're not in it for coaching, they don't think, because it is kind of a foreign concept still, other than like business women. Do you know what I mean? Or athletes. Those are the people who have coaches. So for women like you and I that are stay-at-home moms, for us, it's like, I would never think to myself, I need a coach. I need a life coach.
Right.
I need you know what I mean? It's like, no, I'm expected to know how to manage all this stuff myself. I'm just expected to. It's like when you get married, you're expected to know how to be a wife. You're expected to know how to deal with another person's personality well enough to create an actual existence with them. When you have your baby, you're expected to just know what to do. It's like, geez, Louise, can we put a little more pressure on ourselves? That's not even getting into the compare game and social media. And I mean, that's not even that. I mean, just as a woman in the beginning of time, what about the women who can't have babies? And then they've got the shame, blame. I'm not even doing what I'm supposed to be able to do. It's like, woof. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to me. I love that you said that when they come to you, they're coming to you for a purpose, like they would go to a gym and get a trainer, right? Because the purpose is to lose weight. I need someone not smarter than me, someone more educated in this area of life, right? So then you get them, you hook them with the coaching when they're feeling good, and it's perfect, because when I started this community, I was typing, and it's been kind of a joke in the last couple meetings I've had in here in this community when we've met, is when I designed our website for the first time, I'm like-minded women. It's a community of like-minded women. And to me, in my brain I haven't expanded enough yet, is same religious background, same views, same politics, same, right? Then that's not it, because I surround myself with those people every day. Those are the people I'm naturally around all the time. But that doesn't mean that they're going to be the right fit for this community.
Right.
Like-mindedness is the people who are willing to say, I want change.
Yes.
And then work for it. Right. And so the easiest way to explain that is for people to understand is a gym pass. I mean, that's the most low-hanging fruit, I think, when people are like, oh, something's got to give. Oh, it must be I'm overweight. And so I just feel yucky. And so everything else in my life feels yucky. But really, it's the commitment to make a change. And that's what coaching is you've just allowed yourself to be willing to change something, and you're seeing someone who has more information than you in the area.
Yeah. Yeah. And who's gone that path ahead, and too. And coaching is so great because like you said, it's like people are like, why would I ever have a coach? Well, our kids have coaches in sports, right? There's all kinds of coaches. So why wouldn't anybody want to have a coach to help lead?
You were a ballerina.
I was a ballerina.
You had a coach, you had a coach. You were on the drill team. You had a coach.
Yeah.
You had a dance coach. You had a, why are we so shut off to the fact that, and so I think this is revolutionary for us. We are pioneers in this, and the women who have come before us just recently, I don't think it's that long of a thing, but before it was business coaches. Yeah, that's normal. That's acceptable for women because they are climbing the corporate ladder. They need to have their mentors, or gym coaches or athletic, right? Athletes. But anything in between that, it's like, no, we're expected to know how to handle all this.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're like, try to figure it out too while you have little kids running around and you're feeding them whatever. Mac and cheese, nuggets, whatever, and you're eating off their plate just because you're like, I don't know what else to do. I don't know what to do.
And you're so done, you don't want to make a whole nother thing for yourself. It's like, here, whatever.
And your doctor or someone says, well, you need to lose weight. How? Because there's like 100 different ways to lose weight. But yeah, so coaching is by far awesome. Like it's really, because I tell my clients this. I said, look, I'm not the food police, right? I'm here as a cheerleader, as a guide. I love on you. I meet you where you're at. And I want people to come be with me because I am a human being too. I have my hard moments. I mean, just because I'm coaching others doesn't mean I don't struggle, right? And I want people to know that. I want people to know that I have my emotional eating moments too. I have my moments where I want to give up. I have my moments where I go, what the heck am I doing? Like, why am I doing this? Like, welcome to planet Earth. And to be relatable, right? I'm just somebody else that's like, I'm here for you. I've got you. I believe in you. Take my belief and go with it. And you can do it, so.
Absolutely. Perfectly said. Mic drop. We're done. Thanks for being on. Appreciate ya.
Okay, see ya.
See you later. What's your favorite, since we are talking foundational habits, what is your day look like? Or even it's probably easier for you to talk about because it's personalized, but here's your client. Or you, whatever you want to do. Break it down for me on a daily basis. What kind of habits are game changers that you need to instill to be able to create a healthier lifestyle?
Well, first of all, women need to put themselves first. So for me, I have to get up earlier than my kids. I get up earlier than my kids so that I can, whether it's pray and meditate before I go to the gym, and I go to the gym and I come home and they're still in bed and I get all giddy because I'm like, oh, my house is quiet and I still have time to look at my day and what's going on. I kind of talk a little as I teach people how to eat. I eat 6 small meals a day. So I set up my timer. I eat every 2 to 3 hours, right? So I get my phone set up, right? That's my habit. I'm like, get my phone set up, my timers. But I also, you have to structure your day. Like, I've learned that the hard way because chaos comes in, kids come in, and like everything can get derailed. So I just make sure, and I'm not 100% on this, so just know I'm not perfect. But the night before, I really look ahead at my day and be like, what is my day like tomorrow? What do I need to do? And I have like my list of to-dos because I'm setting myself up for success. Just like I would tell a client, I'm like, look, you're going to go to a party, you're going to go to a wedding, there's going to be all kinds of food. What are you going to do? What's your plan? Because what's the saying? If you plan to fail,
Fail to plan, plan to fail.
Yep, thank you. Thank you.
I look at how funny this is. Look at, I just started writing it. Fail
Yeah.
to.
But it's true though. Like, so you have to set yourself up every single day, and you have to have that mindset. And listen, I've done this enough that it's not that I'm perfect at it. But did I lose you?
Yeah, so I love, do you know where you lost me? But you
saying,
structure your day.
Okay.
And it's true, if you're going to a party, you have to be ready with some snacks, because if they're going to be serving junk.
You have to be aware, and you have to consciously make a decision right then and there. We walk around unconsciously all the time. All the time. And so think about how many times you just dive into the chips and the whatever, the M&Ms and whatever, the nuts, and you're just like mindlessly eating. So you have to consciously be aware all the time, because we unconsciously walk around. And so that's where that's where this mindset shift comes in for my clients. I'm like, okay, pay attention to your surroundings. Pay attention to how you're feeling. Are you really hungry? Or are you just bored? Or are you just trying to be a social eater? You know what I mean? I think what I was saying before we kind of got dropped is people will say, how do you just do it every day? I'm like, you know what? I am not always motivated, but I've set up these habits that I just do it because that's who I am. That's me. And so again, getting back into the habits, that's what you teach your clients, like get into the daily routine of drinking your water, setting up your timers, of setting aside time for yourself, whether that's listening to a podcast or reading a book, learning more about yourself. Like, it is so crucial. It's so crucial because that just filters into the other areas of your life, right? Because then you start showing up for people that you weren't showing up before, even for your kids. So I think that's where we left off before the call dropped.
I think the desire, it has to be, I love when James Clear talks about his, there's 4 steps to a habit, and you cannot have a habit be created without every part of those. And, it has to be easy, period. Mm-hmm. It has to be. If it's not easy, we are human and we're lazy and we're not doing it.
Yeah.
It has to be something we desire. So there has to be some kind of a reward, and, and if the reward's not big enough, we won't do it. It's so interesting. Human behavior is so interesting that it can be broken down to such specific categories, these four categories. And if you don't have all 4, you won't have a habit, and then you won't do it. So how do you help them find that desire? Or when they come to you, do they usually have enough of it?
Well, it depends. I mean, I do talk to a handful of people too that do a health assessment, and it's just not their time, and that's okay. And I'm like, well, you know how to find me when it's your time. Because I do not want to take on a client. I actually ask them on a scale of 1 to 10, how committed are you to these changes? And most of the time people say 7, 8. I'm like, why not a 10? And guess what? The number one issue is fear of failure. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I get it, but that's why you have me. That's why you have all these other components. Like, just try it. Like, believe in yourself. So, I just lost my train of thought.
And define failure. You know what I mean? It's like, I think everybody just thinks perfect is what it needs to be. And it's like, who's perfect? Whose definition of what life are you living?
Right.
I mean, set your own definition. Mm-hmm. Set your own bar to compete with.
Yeah.
It's so, and it happens naturally. We all do it naturally. I do it too. I'm not saying I'm just immune to this, but I am aware of it now to the point that it's like, no, I'm not going to do that because that's something that's not going to fill me. Right. No, that doesn't improve my life or my happiness or my family or my family's life, then It's like, nah, I'm
Yeah.
not going to do it. You
Yeah.
start being super intentional about making the choices that it's like,
Yeah.
who's setting the bar for you?
Yeah. Yeah. And so, if people rate themselves below a 7 and below, I'm like, you know what? That's okay. Like, let's revisit this later. When you are ready to go, let's go. But I'd say most people, when they get to that point of having a conversation with me, they are like, okay, I just got this devastating news from my doctor. I've got to do this or this is going to happen. And I'm like, I'm your girl. Let's go, And when you get them committed and as they dial into all those components that I talked about, like, it's awesome. It's like they have amazing results and they feel it and they have this aura about them. They're like, you know what I mean? And then other people see it and then other people say, what are you doing? I want that. And so it's cool. And so that's why I always say to people, I'm like, I literally have the greatest job ever because I'm helping people become better versions of themselves. And who doesn't want that these days? We are surrounded by negativity. We're surrounded by people who live below the line all the time. And it's just energy zapping, right? Like,
Yeah.
So to be able to help empower people is like so cool. I love it.
I'm with you. I'm with you right there. I'm with
I know
you.
you are.
Ryan gets so mad at me when I become salesy, like when I become a salesman. And I'm like, I don't care. I am so proud of the fact that I have the best product on the market, right? Why wouldn't I be shouting it from the rooftops? I feel like I'm doing a disservice to not talk about it all the time. And if that comes across salesman-y, then people don't know me well enough to know that I only speak about things that I love or that are truly organic to my life. That's how I've always been on Pure Imperfection. You wouldn't ever see any collaborations on there with companies that I did not. I actually, one time I had a company send me this organic or good for you or whatever laundry soap. And I was like, I don't really, whatever, but okay. Yeah. I'm like, whatever, like, sure. If it's good, if it cleans the clothes and it's great, I'll try it. Sure. So they sent it to me and I was just underwhelmed by it.
Yeah.
And not for, any reason. I just was underwhelmed by it. And I said to them, I said, I am not the right person to advertise this for you because it's not going to be something I use. So I will not talk about it.
Right.
And they said, please just give it to someone you think that would like it. And I said, absolutely. I totally will. Thank you. But that's the whole reason I started that was the foundation of Pure Imperfection was to write honest reviews for moms.
Okay.
So I had Castle and I was trying to buy all of the baby gear, right? I'm the first time mom. I have no idea. I've got all these sisters, of course, that are telling me 20 different things because everybody's got this worked for me. Right. This didn't work. You do need to do this. You don't need to do this. I've got all the opinions. So I did not need more opinions. But for specific products, I would go in and just scour the internet for reviews, right? And so many times I bought a high chair that was crap and I had to put it up together, take it apart, ship it back, right? And it's like, that would have saved so much time. This is pre-Amazon, folks. Okay, my son is 11. This is and now even the Amazon reviews are fake, so who knows? But this was like, I'm like, I want to be that mom that's like, you know what? This is crap. It was expensive and it didn't work. Like, I just bought a Shark stick vacuum. It's horrible. I love Shark, so don't get me wrong. Like, I've had a Shark in every one of my vacation rentals and I love them dearly, but I bought the stick vacuum. Horrible. Horrible. And anyway, like, I want to be that person because A, I'm not scared to tell people what I think. It's probably to a fault. And B, if I could help someone not make the same mistake.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Because can you imagine? You can imagine being pregnant, trying to put everything together because I put everything together. Rick didn't. So same with the swing. I think I had 3 different swings with Castle. Put them all together, tried it out, something didn't work, took it apart, sent it back. It was like, and I'm like, gosh, there's got to be some way to not have to go through this. So that's actually where that started.
Oh, cool. I did not know that.
Yeah, nobody knows because it kind of didn't do it. Now they do. But yeah, so, oh boy. So what, after all of your experience of creating this business, these businesses, I guess, you're a mom,
Mm-hmm.
5 kids, and a wife, right? And especially a wife to a soldier. So
Yeah.
you are doing lots of it on your own.
Yeah.
Um, I actually had this discussion with my friends here from Hawaii, and I said, if you could help one person see the results that you and I both know, we've seen the positive influence and change in people that's created like lifestyle shifts
Mm-hmm.
so big and
Mm-hmm.
amazing that it's so unbelievable. So it's hard to explain, but where's your level of would you go through it all again?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I would because I'm a different person, you know? And while I could use every excuse in the book, I have 5 kids. I can't grow a business. My husband's out of the country. I have, I can't grow a business. I'm tired today. I can't grow a business. I would because it's, you know what? If you want to do whatever it is that you want to do, if you want to do it, you make it happen, and you can make it happen, right? So I would totally do it again. Would I do some things different? Yeah, but I would do it again because I'm a better person for it, and I'm still learning and growing. I mean, like I said, I am not like I still my whys change all the time, my goals change all the time, but it's awesome because I feel like I'm just teaching my kids like, you know what? Life is hard and it can be really hard to start something from the ground up, but you can do it. You can do it. Like it's totally possible. And now I can be like, now I love it because I can cheer on other women or men and be
Yeah.
like, you can do it too. Like you really can.
Yeah.
So.
I knew you'd say that. I knew you'd say that because it's kind of our own accountability.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, it is. It's like, am I going to go to the gym every day if I don't have those other women in there? Like, I mean, I'm going to go to the gym because I have that
Right.
dedication to do that. But am I going to do this class as well if I don't have all these women staring at me? No,
Yeah.
probably not. I'll wander around. If I don't go to a class, I'll just wander around, right? Because I don't have that accountability. But if I go in that class, dang right, I'm going to be the most active woman in there. You know what I mean? So that's the key is even though it's been hard and even though it takes a lot of time and a lot of energy and a lot of stress and a lot of blah 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 blah, there's like you
Mm-hmm.
said, there's all the excuses in the world. It makes me a better person.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me more expanded and successful. That's what I like seeing just for myself through all this is I'm having these aha moments that I wouldn't have ever even known. It's like when you ask someone a question when they're just starting something and they're like, I don't even know what question to ask yet.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's like someone gets hired at McDonald's and they're like, do you have any questions? And they're like, well, I don't quite know yet. Let me start working and I'll just ask the questions as I go, right? It's like that for us in the same sense. It's like, well, I just had an aha moment. I've been doing this for 8 months and I just had an aha moment and it's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you get to watch other people have those moments too.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is so fulfilling. And so I think that I want to just cheer on other women and be like, man, if you feel like there's something else besides being a stay-at-home mom is wonderful. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
Like
we
I'm
all love it.
grateful for my children, but I am grateful that I get to do my own thing too, and show up in a way that I don't think I could show up had I not done something like this. You know.
So when they come to you, do you ever get into, and this might not be because you are pretty focused, so you have a way to really just zone in with your business. You have a way to zone in. And then the things that come along, you kind of can work with as it goes. But do you ever feel like when they come to you, these women, I'm this is maybe not so, let's see, how am I trying to ask this? When they come to you, nope, sorry, lost my train of thought. flew around, couldn't land that plane. Couldn't land that
Missed.
plane. It missed.
It's
Sorry,
okay.
it'll come back. Oh, here it is. Okay, it came back. I just needed to stretch. It was just stuck somewhere. So, do you feel... I don't know why I'm trying to be nice by asking this. Women, we know, are always feeling poorly about themselves. Like, I mean, right? As not a whole, but most of the time, women
Yes.
are usually feeling horribly about themselves. How do you teach self-confidence?
Well, that's a really good question. I just think by me showing up and loving on people and literally meeting them where they're at, changes them, and I invite them to events that I put on, and I surround them with other people that love on them too. And we talk about, the drama triangle and the empowerment triangle, and I'm like, if you have people in your life that are causing drama, get rid of them. Surround your people that want to help you level up. Surround people that want to support you and love you with what you want to do. And I just think through doing that, and over time, you do start to gain the confidence. And then also, when you start losing weight, you start gaining confidence. You know what I mean? Um, so I just think by being that person, and again, being like vulnerable with them too, and being like, I have felt that before. I get it. Like, yeah, I've had that issue before, and let's talk about it. Let's talk about why that happened. Um, but the clients also have to do their own work. I can only do so much as a coach, that I honestly don't think people fail. I just think they give up. If they're like, that didn't work, I'm like, that's why, because you gave up. You decided to not do all the work. And so I'm learning to disconnect myself from that, because I get so sad when I have some of those clients that just drop off, or I know and I see their potential, and then it falls flat. But I'm learning to be like, it's on them. It's nothing I did. I did everything I could, and you know, it's whatever they've got going on in their head. They have some misconception of why, whatever. So,
Yeah, those limiting beliefs that in
mm-hmm.
my case, I feel like it's things that I cannot help with. There's the
Yeah.
pyramid of, oh gosh, what's it called? But it's basically the difference between coaching and counseling. And it's like, if you have these 5 things, all you need is these top 3. I can't think what it's called. Anyway, you just need these top 3 for coaching,
Mm-hmm.
but if you don't have the bottom 2, that's counseling, because you have to first, that's usually where your traumas are and your, you know, limiting beliefs that are so paralyzing you can't get past it. That's where, but once you've passed those levels, those 2 bottom tiers of that pyramid, then the coaching can take place. It's
Mm-hmm.
things that you can instill and motivate still, but the counseling, if those 2 bottom foundation ones are not there, you can't touch. You
Yeah.
can't. And even though people try, they want to, but yeah. So I've got a good monthly topic for you. It was you're being the lighthouse, not the tugboat, right? You can only
Mm-hmm.
you can only show people,
Yeah.
and then they have to do it
And then they have,
themselves.
yep, yep. And essentially that's what I'm trying to teach them, how to fish per se. I'm teaching them how to coach themselves. And then if they wanted to learn how to coach others. So, yeah.
I love that you said giving up equals failure, because I have a saying in here that there's no such thing as failure, but
Mm-hmm.
that is exactly failure. Giving up is probably the only time that I will accept failure as a word,
Mm-hmm.
because my whole idea is, it's like, you're on a road, it didn't work out,
Yeah.
then go get on a different road.
Yeah.
Gosh, look at how many roads there are in LA. There's 5 bazillion. Like, like, just
Yeah.
because one doesn't take you in the direction you expected,
Yeah.
so you get off and go on another one. That's,
Well, and people are so impatient with themselves.
oh
I'm like,
gosh, yeah.
okay, like, why do you think that happened? Oh, well, and you get you ask those thoughtful questions, and they're like, well, I did this because my kids were fighting, or my husband and I got in a huge argument, or money's stressful, or whatever. And I'm like, okay, so you kind of work through that. And I love to teach people, I'm like, you got to sit with your emotions. right? I don't know if you've read anything from Jim Dethmer. He's awesome, but he teaches people how to, he's like, can you sit for 90 seconds uncomfortable? And it generally, like after 90 seconds, that emotion goes away. You feel it, you process it, and you're like, oh, okay. And you move on. But people can't do that. They're like, I'm just stressed right now. I gotta have that donut or whatever it is. I gotta go spend that money. I've gotta drink that alcohol because they can't just sit in their emotions for a minute, right? So that's really fun to teach too.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
It's painful for me. I can do it, but yeah, it's like me with silence. I'll get on these calls. It's something I'm training myself is I'll get on our Zoom calls, whatever, and I'll be talking to my community, whatever, and ask a question, and then it's just
There's
silence. And I'm
crickets.
just like, and it feels like 10 minutes go by, and
Yeah.
I'm just like clawing at my skin, trying to like be quiet. Be quiet, Gina. Be quiet, Gina.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so yeah, I at my retreat we had an Enneagram coach come and she was awesome, but she cracked a few things open for me about my Enneagram number and I'm like, "Huh, that makes so much sense." And
Mm-hmm.
I hear people saying sit in the emotions. I hear them saying it all the time. It doesn't mean anything to me. It doesn't resonate with me. It doesn't for no reason. It's not a good or a
Mm-hmm.
bad, right?
Yeah.
I don't have any connection to it. It's like, okay, cool, whatever, sit in your emotion. Yeah, do that. But for me, it's like I have moments of emotion
Mm-hmm.
and then I get over it. The other things need to happen. Other
Mm-hmm.
things I need to do, right? So if I have like a breakdown or a day of sadness that I feel sad, something happens, I feel sad. I usually have right instantly after a moment of, okay, we're done. Brush it
Mm-hmm.
off. Let's get back to it. So that was really interesting to figure out. So that I'm actually going to look into him because I'm
Yeah.
wondering
Read.
what sitting in my silence and my
I was
emotion
gonna
would
say
do to
his
me.
book.
What
I
if
have his
what if
book.
I crack myself open to the point that I can never come back? I don't ever fix and I'm just like a ball of crying mess all the
You need to
time.
get this. The 15 Commitments of Conscious Leadership, Jim Duff.
Ooh,
He's
15.
amazing.
Okay.
15 Commitments of Conscious Leadership. I had an opportunity to fly to Dallas in April and go listen for 3 days, and my brain was going to explode. It was amazing. And it was just so much information. But honestly, it's applicable for parenting, for marriage, for running a business, for working with people. Like it's for every person.
I love books like that.
It is incredible. So, yeah,
Yay. Okay, well, I'll put
a
that in the
really good
show
book.
notes so everybody
Yeah,
can, if they missed that, I'll put it down in there because I'm really interested in that. It's
it's
all
good.
about expanding, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, Annie, thanks for doing this with me.
You're welcome.
Do you have anything else you'd want to add? Did I miss anything very important to your business that you're like, gosh, Gina, why didn't you ask the right
Oh,
questions? That's one of my favorite books right so far is John Maxwell, Good Leaders Ask Great Questions.
oh, and I'm not familiar with that one either.
Oh, it's so good. It's a lot about you were talking about you have to ask a question so that they'll answer. And then it's
Mm-hmm.
usually you follow up with whys. Why is that? Why
Yes.
is that? Why is
Yeah.
that? Right? Because you're trying to
Mm-hmm.
get to the thing under the
You're trying to
thing under
crack it
the thing.
open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was a great one.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I guess I just want people to feel empowered and know that there's ways out there to get healthy. We all need to work on it. I actually will share a crazy statistic with you if that's okay that I heard.
Yeah.
So let your listeners sit on this and think about it. Okay. So in the United States, okay, this is just the United States alone, 75% of people are overweight. 42 are obese. The CDC predicts that in the year 2030, so that's now 6.5 years away because we're halfway through 2023, that they predict we will be at 50% obesity. Now that should scare people,
Right.
legitimately scare people. And I say that just people just need to be informed. You need to be aware Um, and were you going to ask a question? Sorry, it looked like you were going to ask a question
Oh
on that.
yeah, but you go ahead. I've got yeah, I just thought of a question. So now we're not done. Sorry listeners, we're not done yet.
No, so I'm so passionate for helping people create health and well-being. Like it is my mission to help obliterate those statistics because it's ridiculous. We should not be in that situation. And it's sad. Like, what are we setting up our children for? So, like in the US, we're learning what doesn't work. And another thing that was crazy too is that the US, we're 5% of the world population. We consume 50% of the pharmaceutical world's.
Oh yeah.
That's a $500 billion industry. That is insane. So people don't want more medications. We don't want more medications.
No.
We don't want, we keep selling sickness, and I don't want to sell sickness. But these big corporations, that's what they do because they don't care, right?
Yeah.
So we're losing our way. And I
Yeah.
want people to know that let's not lose our way. Let's not just because it's out there means that we should be like that. Like you can empower yourself, educate yourself, be more conscious and aware, and watch your life change for the good, right?
Yeah. It's crazy because I think it's all with how, I mean, look at in our time, this is going like back in my day, and I'm only 40, guys. Like I can back in my day this. I remember Davis High School running to the payphone to answer a page, right? Like we did not have anything. Like I didn't even know what the internet was when it came out because my parents, we were poor. We had like an old, big old, huge IBM desktop. They still probably have it. And I used to play like Oregon Trail on it. I mean, you know what I mean? This is like so in just the short 20 years, we've gone from snail mail to remember the dial up on You've Got Mail? Whee!
Oh yeah, yes,
Like,
the sound.
oh my gosh.
Oh
Every
my
time
gosh,
I
the
watch that,
memory.
it's one of my favorite movies, but I'm just like, oh. And it's like PTSD for all of us that actually had to do it. Anyway, in just 20 years, we've advanced so quickly with so much information, and we're all just being bombarded that the rate of instant gratification has gone from a level maybe 10 to
Yep.
a level 8 billion.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? So our kids, they already have that problem. They already have that instant gratification. They have it at their fingertips, you know?
Yeah.
So that's why I think the pills, I think they have such an easy time selling the pills because the instant gratification.
Oh,
I need the quick fix. I need this to be done quickly. I have a wedding to be a bridesmaid in next week, so I need to be the size 2 instantly,
Yeah.
right? It's lazy.
yeah. No, I know it's hard, but that's why instilling those habits is so
Yeah.
important.
I've had a couple of people say that the desire to change will only come when the problem becomes so bad
Oh yeah.
that you have no other choice. It's like you said with these clients that come because the doctor's given them these ultimatums like this or you're dying, this or you lose your legs, this or you do this. And it's like, oh, okay, yeah, the other side of this is really bad. I better do something about it, right?
Yeah.
Which at least, thank goodness, they'll do it. But so what I was going to ask you though is with you, and if I came to you, it would seem so overwhelming to me. And this is where instilling these foundational habits, instilling the 1%, like you don't have to go to your pantry and all of a sudden just because a lot of women feel that way. It's like, I'm committed. I'm going to tear everything out of my home and start from scratch and look at these Instagram women who have their fridges and they're all organized beautifully and they have all this organic
not reality.
food. And no, ladies, okay, if you came to my house and opened my cupboards right now, I mean, I'm a bad example because I eat like I'm a 12-year-old boy. There's a box of Twinkies. There's 2 boxes of Pop-Tarts. There's, I'm sure, all sorts of Cheetos and what kind of chip paraphernalia. macaroni and cheese, hot dogs. I mean, I am the worst. So for me, when I try to think about, like, I love accounts like Just Ingredients. I love how she will just hold them side by side and say,
Yeah.
look, if you're just going to buy this, just buy this instead. Because then I don't have to think about it. I'm one of those lazy people that's like, I'm maybe not even lazy. I'm just spread so thin I can't even do it.
Yeah.
But if I have people like her and you saying, okay, you're going to get the mac and cheese. Well, here, get this mac and cheese instead. Or, you know, I love those. So the point of that rant is start with the 1%. It's not just going and being, you're not going to eat the whole elephant today, right? Just one bite at a time.
Yep.
Start by getting rid of the soda. Can we all just agree to start there?
Yeah.
Please, Utah, can we please? We had a friend from Australia come, and he was here because of a funeral. And he said he drove around St. George and he rented a jacked up truck and he went to In-N-Out and got like a huge 32-ounce soda and a big, In-N-Out, got a hamburger. And he said, I drove around feeling so American. And my husband and I were like, really? That's what did it for you? That's what they think of us.
That's what
these
because
32-ounce plus size drinks. They make fun of us. You go to any other country and they're like, oh, I know this drink is so small. You're so used to everything else. And I'm like, please, can we please stop with the soda?
And for sure. So I can't come in and be like, it's all or nothing mentality. That just sets you up for failure. You can't do that. And I learned that because I'm recovering from that myself. So it's just the little things. I'm like, can you drink at least 64 ounces of water today? Can you hit that goal? Can you know what I mean? It's those little things. It's like, can you go from full on Coke to Diet Coke? Can you make that switch for just a time?
Yeah.
And then slowly get off of that. And then and that's why I bring this up. I love Just Ingredients too, or anybody else. Educate, you guys. Educate yourself. Educate your kids. Don't just be like, well, I'm never buying the white bread again. Maybe say, well, why? Let's look at the ingredients in the white bread versus the wheat bread or whatever, Dave's Killer Bread or something. Educate, give them both options. And over time, I promise you, as you work on it too, they will start making those better choices. You just have to set that example, right? You just have to. You still can have not all the things, but you teach your kids, like, you know what? I'm not going to have this because I don't feel good after I eat it. I feel foggy brained, whatever. Instead of saying you can't have that because I said so. No, you can't do that. You have to educate yourself and your kids. And so
break down what a sugar high looks like. Break down what it looks like when you have some kind of red dye.
Yeah. And maybe with something like hot dogs and be like, well, you know what? There are different hot dogs out there. This is better than this one, but this is why I choose not to feed you guys hot dogs because of X, Y, and Z or whatever. You know what I mean? Because kids want to know. They're curious, and when we teach them, they'll figure it out, and then they might eat it, they might not, and so education.
It's true. My 8-year-old wants to know everything. He is a know-it-all. And to a fault, but it's adorable. He wants to know all the information because he wants to be the one that is known for knowing everything. So if I sat him down and instead of just saying no, then and explaining it, it probably would go over way, way better. Even the white bread, showing him the mold, how fast it molds because of the sugar. It's like, look, there's a perfect experiment for you guys. There's a STEM activity for summer, ladies. Let some white bread mold. I mean, it's going to happen anyway.
Grandma sycamores.
Yeah, the grandma sycamores, 100%. It's so sugary that it molds so fast. This is why. Turn it into an experiment. You're welcome. Oh. Send your donations to Revitalize Womanhood. Oh, Annie, I just love you. I just love the heck out of you.
Yeah. Well, thanks. It's been fun.
It's been fun.
And maybe a to be continued. I feel like there's so much more. We just kind of hit the tip of the iceberg.
Oh
But
my gosh, let's do it. We can do a part two. We could, you know what's going to be fun is I've got, let's try to make Gina healthy challenges. So you should go listen to my member Leah. She's Leah Brueggemann. She's got a podcast called Balancing Hormones Naturally. So she's a practitioner, but she does like works in like minerals and stuff like that. And she has got her hands full with me. I tell you what, she just looks at me
on a
and
mission.
she's on a mission. Yes, I get my hair follicle cut tomorrow, my hair for my follicle test cut tomorrow.
Yeah.
I told her I refuse to do it myself. I will have my hairdresser do it. I'm not walking around with a bald spot. She's like, you're not doing it right if you're walking around with a bald spot.
It's like one strand.
Yeah. Well, the YouTube she sent me, it was this woman was cutting across this hole across the back of her hair. And I'm like, please stop sending people that YouTube video. It's horrorifying.
Yeah. Well, you could just go back to shaving your head back here.
I should do that. I should do that.
And get a hair sample. And then put your pick in
I'm
your
going
back
to
pocket.
find a picture. I'm going to find a picture from 7th grade and post it on my Instagram when this goes out.
And your bandana.
Oh my gosh, my bandana. I know, what thug life did I think I was growing up in? It's because I was friends with Crystal. It was Crystal Bernard. That was all her influence. 100% her influence.
Does she listen to this show, Crystal?
No, but I'm sending it to her. I'm going to say it was your bad influence. All right, girl. Okay, you froze up on me, so I will just end it and let you go and call you on my phone and let you know that we froze up again. So thank you, Annie, for being on Revitalized Womanhood. Oh, there you are. It froze up.
Yeah, there you are. I
just said goodbye for you to everybody.
Oh.
Thank you, Annie.
That was so fun. Thanks so much. Okay.